how important really is this? So, Cody, from 0 to 100, how much should we put on combine results?
I say 5%, maybe
Wow.
maybe 10% depending on the prospect. I just don't think the on-field workouts and the on-field testing carries that much weight for these teams when they're going through this evaluation process. I mean, some coaches and GMs and decision makers don't even show up to the combine because they don't see a ton of value in it. And I agree. I mean, you're not going to learn a lot about a defensive lineman or an offensive lineman in a t-shirt and shorts doing non-contact bag drills and then running a 40-yard dash. You're not going to learn a lot about a quarterback or a wide receiver running routes on air against no defense and working together for the first time ever and maybe getting, 10 to 15 reps during that process. You're not going to learn a lot about a DB backpedaling against no receiver and then running a gauntlet drill right after that. Where you are going to learn a lot, and what carries a lot more weight is the game film. When they go on and put the tape on, that's the best evaluation tool that they have. That's where all of that, what you want to learn about a guy, everything you need to know about who they are as a player, that's going to tell you everything you need to know. The eye in the sky does not lie. The other thing that I think is more important as well than the combine drills is those individual workouts. Those teams get an opportunity to bring some of these guys in or work with some of these players one-on-one and do individual workouts instead of being in a group setting so they can work on things that they do specifically within their organization. Bo Nix might not even be a Bronco right now if it wasn't for the individual workout that he had with Sean Payton. If you remember last year, Sean Payton was interviewed at the combine and he said, I was sold and knew that Bo Nix was our guy after we had an individual workout with him following his pro day. He even went on to say that I don't think Bo threw very well at the combine, but I understand the circumstances for a quarterback and not getting timing down with receivers and the fresh footballs and everything that goes along with that. So it doesn't carry too much weight for me. That individual workout and the film was a lot more important. And honestly, in my opinion, I think the off-field things like Kinsey kind of mentioned, the interviews, the meetings, the medical testing, all of those things carry a lot more weight than the on-field testing. Yeah, it's an entertainment purpose and the fans.
Part of the combine, though.
Huh?
Yeah,
that's still part of the combine.
Yeah, but it is. But I'm talking more so about on the field aspect. So if we're talking about off the field things, yeah, it carries a little more weight with the interviews and individual things like that you get face-to-face time with the football team. But I still think, again, your game film carries a lot more weight than all of that. The combine's a couple days, you're sleep deprived, you're doing things in and out, doing these meetings. It can be tough. And then you got to go out there and run a 40 and do these different drills that you're probably never going to do again in your football career. So I just don't think it carries a ton of weight. I'll say 10%. The reason I don't say 0, though, and the reason I think it does have a little bit of value is for some of these guys that are projected, mid to late to maybe undrafted when it comes to the draft, because they can go out and if they perform well on the field or they test well or they interview well, they're not going to skyrocket up the draft boards because of what they did at the combine, but it might provoke some of these coaches and general managers to go back and say, you know what? Let's check this guys out. Let's check this film out a little bit more. Let's go back and take a second look at some of these games. Maybe we didn't see everything that we needed to see, or maybe we need to become more familiar with this prospect. So it can help some of those guys. So again, it's not 0%. It's not pointless. There is some value to it, but I think there's other things throughout this draft process that are a lot more important than what you do at the combine.
I gotta disagree with my dog Cody, man. I will put 30 to 35%. You know what I'm saying? Just because you do gotta watch the game film first, right? You watch the game film first. You see if you like a guy. You see what type of player he is. Is he making plays? Is he not? What kind of game speed he has? Boom, that's 65, 70% of it. When you get to that combine, first thing you do, you get a true size on the guy. I could watch you on this little bitty screen I'm looking at, and you look one way. Then I can get in person. I can't tell you how many coaches said, damn, Lee, you're bigger than I thought you was. You wouldn't know that unless I came to the combine. You got a true size on me, first of all. Then you see who's been working. Who are the guys who really took this shit serious? You should look like you're in the best shape of your life. You should do these drills and be gassed, but not gassed because you're in the best shape of your life. And you should know the drills. You should dominate the drills because we know what drills we're doing. We know what drills we're going to do. Who's been every day, 3-4 days a week working on these drills so they can come put it on tape like this? Who's going to work their craft as a pro? And who's going to be out here tripping over their own feet and looking like this their third, fourth time going over these drills? I'm going to learn that from you. And then I'm gonna see your real personality. I'm gonna get a 20-minute meeting with you. I'm gonna ask you all kind of questions. It's gonna be you versus 20 people in the room, and we're gonna get a real good idea of what kind of person you are. Is you standoffish? Is you funny? Is you social? Is you nervous? Is you sweating? Is you lying? Is you stuttering? Like, I'm gonna get a good idea on what kind of person you are with the team, and then I'm gonna get a good idea what kind of person you are with your peers, because you're gonna run around and train, and I'm gonna just see how guys act with the guys, who's the leaders, who's the guys who lag behind, who's late, who's the last one on the field, who's the first one on the field. I'm looking at all kind of stuff about this combine when all these guys come together. And then I'm going to see your competitive edge. I can't see a competitive edge on tape. You know what I'm saying? But when you put the best of the best in one room and we got to bench press versus each other, then we got to see who jumped the highest. Then we got to see who do the drills the best. And we see who the fastest. That's when the cream of the crop rise to the top, baby. I'm telling you, leave. I put on some white Jordan shorts, Kenzie. I'm going to make sure they see me. Everybody, y'all wearing that? I'm wearing white Jordan shorts. Let me rise to the top. And I went crazy in them drills. And I guarantee you I rose my draft stock from the combine, because that's what it's all about. So I feel like, man, all those things are important, bro. You about to hire a guy, pay him millions of dollars. I want to learn the little stuff about him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I could turn him and tape you right. He can play, but everybody at this combine can play. Let me see who's the cream of the crop out of these guys. Let me see who got these little nagging ass injuries that, damn, I ain't even really know about. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning that kind of stuff about guys at the combine. So it's an important process to me. And I've seen guys like Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie barely be on the board, top 5, go to the combine and get drafted before leave. I'm like, where the fuck did this dude come from? Because they looked at him, they said, God damn, he's 6'1.5", 6'2". Then he run a damn 4.32, and then his drills look crazy. They like, bro, look at this. Oh man, he jumped everybody. So, hey, it can propel a guy to the top of the list who is kind of middle of the pack. So,
But what about
I
all
love
the,
it,
what
man.
about like the arm length right now on Ruben Bain being a conversation? Like, how important is that?
I mean, it's important. If it wasn't important, they wouldn't be talking about it. You can see times on Ruben Bain when he rushed around the edge and guys lock him up and he just kind of just stuck. He can't go nowhere. You could find a lot of tape on him getting caught like that, and that's because he can't lock his arms out. His arms are not. When he lock his arms out, somebody can still grab his shoulders. So if it wasn't important, it wouldn't mean nothing. Your arm length do mean something. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm right in between my guys, man. I don't think it's as low as Cody, but I don't think it's as high as Lee. I got it at 20%, just because your films is going to do, all the telling from a football aspect, from a personality aspect, from a preparation aspect. The lights are on. Everyone knows that the lights are on. You've been preparing for this from the end of the season. If you come in ill prepared, if you come in looking chubby, if you don't come in at the top of your life, that just tells me something about your character. Like, this is the biggest moment of your life and you were not completely compared. And if you show that I'm a faster player in this 40 than I am on tape, or a slower player than I am on tape, I don't think it hinders you or benefits you too much more than what the tape shows. But there are other aspects of your character that's going to come out. Are you coming to the drills tired? Did you get rest last night? Do you know the drills? When I'm explaining the drills, are you paying attention? Do I got to say, hey, are you messing up the first time you go out there after 3 guys already went before you? That matters. You're not paying attention to details. You're not coachable. If I coach you one time and you get it right the second time, you're coachable. For me, they wanted to see my health, right? I had 3 knee surgeries. When I got in there with the doctors, they said, oh, you had 3 knee surgeries, but your knee is still sturdy. You good, right? I was a little bit bigger than I played during my senior year, right? I played at 205 to 207. I came in the combine 212, but I was able to hold my speed. That matters. I gained weight, but I still ran a 4.5, ran a 4.4 at my pro day. So those little discrepancies, like Lee said, that they want to see. They want to see, are you prepared? Can you perform while everyone's watching when the moment is its biggest? That matters. Now, some of these drills that they do now, they had the dude feet over his head. I don't know what that is. They had his feet peeled back. That's a new drill. We didn't have to do that. But the broad jump, the vertical, the 40, the L drill, and mainly the position drills. Now,
Mm.
quarterbacks may be a little different with throwing the time into receivers. You know, why quarterbacks don't want to throw, I understand that. But for the normal position guys, running backs, linebackers, O-line, tight ends, you better come in there and you better work out and be at your best. So I got it at 20% because if the tape says one thing and you go out there and don't destruct, you'll likely hold that position that team's got you on. But if you come in and you do something that is against what they see on film, I don't care what that film say. If they see it in person, you're gonna get knocked down, and that happens all the time.
So you think if they're football fast on tape and pads and a helmet and all of that, and they have great football speed, but they go to the combine and the 40's not as impressive, you think that's going to hurt them instead of coaches going, he looks fast on film. Maybe he didn't test well at the combine with his result at the 40, but on film he looks fast and we can work with that. And he runs away from people and he has great recovery speed. I just think that carries so much.
I've seen guys they thought was faster and go down 2 rounds because they ran a 4.6 and they thought they was a 4.4.
And then they pull up to camp and that 40 time was right. They ass can't run and they be out the league in a few years.
But help vice versa. If you come in and you run a 4.2, 4.3, that's a little different. Now we talking about like Riders Cromartie, and we talking about some of these other guys that run in rare times. Now, if it's a rare time for a position or your size, then yeah, that'll shoot you up for sure. But if it's like a 10th or something like that,
and then it could go just the other way, bub. Like they think you can't run.
Yeah,
right? This guy can't run that good, and you get out there and run a super fast time and look nice and crispy and track the ball well in your drills. And then they're like, oh, well, shit, maybe he was hurt. What if I'm hurt 2-3 games and the guy running by me like I was with Jordy Nelson and I get the tag that he can't run? I'm like, bro, I was fucking hurt. You feel me? Like,
this sounds a little personal for me.
I was hurt. You know what I'm saying? So I went to the camp, good run, a great time. And they're like, oh, yeah, bro can run. He can move very fluently. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
It did. I would say I benefited from the combine because they thought I was stiffer than I was, and I got out there and I was real fluid in my drill. So I definitely think I came up. I missed half my senior year. I went 38. Like they thought I was injury prone and I was stiff, but I proved them wrong because I was prepared. If you come in prepared, ready to go, you gonna improve your stock. If you don't, you gonna drop.
So obviously, as Aqib points out, I did not play football. I did not participate at a combine. I've just covered combines. And I started covering pro football before there was a combine with Don Shula's Dolphins back in the late 70s. I knew the ultimate draft master, Gil Brandt of the Dallas Cowboys, all the way through the late 70s and 80s. I was very close with him. And what I learned was that Cody is exactly right about this, except I'm going to the low end of what Cody started this conversation with, because the combine should matter 5%, period, end of story, 5%. All I know is that I watched Aqib Talib play on television at Kansas. I watched a bunch of games. I watched the whole Orange Bowl that Aqib Talib played at Kansas against, was it Virginia Tech, Aqib? Right, Virginia Tech. He was the MVP of that game. And I immediately said after the game, I want him in the first round because all he does is play make. Wherever the ball is, he was. He's getting his hands on balls. He's intercepting balls. He's pick-sixing balls. It's hard for a corner to be the MVP of the Orange Bowl. That's all I needed to know. So what did I learn before there even was a combine? That the tape never lies, and it does not lie. And where I disagree with Aqib, he says, well, maybe your competitive edge doesn't show on tape. Well, if it doesn't, then I don't want you. If I watch your whole tape of your whole final year in college football and you don't show me competitive edge, then I'm not going to waste a high pick on you. And when we get to the combine, it's just become a glorified track meet. And I'm fine with that because it gives fans a fresh start, hope anew. It's like the kickoff for a new football season where you have hope because maybe we can get this guy or that guy, this workout warrior or that workout warrior. And I just remind everybody, Emmitt Smith ran 4.6 greatest running back ever. Jerry Rice ran 4.6, greatest receiver ever. They had football speed with a football under their arm that you couldn't time. They didn't time. It's like kids who don't test well in school. Maybe you just don't time well. Just watch the tape. How do they look on tape? Are they fast on tape?
Skip, I
And
bet you they would have killed them drills though. I bet you they would have killed
Yeah.
them drills because they work hard.
But you
Yeah.
practice those drills and you know you sit
now you do.
as a
Yeah.
receiver and a DB for the entire lead up to the combine. We're running
Yeah.
the gauntlet drill over and over and over and over. You may not have great
Yeah.
ball skills as a DB, but you might
Yeah.
coach the gauntlet drill because I've
Yeah.
did 1,000 times before. It doesn't
All
even
right.
translate. To
Okay. All right. So who won the combine yesterday? Sonny Styles won the combine, and it killed me because I was hoping a week ago that Sonny Styles would fall to Dallas at 12, and now there's no way because he just won the combine on opening day. What do we know about Sonny Styles? Well, I already knew he was a 5-star recruit out of high school who went to Ohio State as a safety. Well, what do you think is going to happen as he transitions, as he gets his man body and goes, what is he, 6'5", 245, and transitions to off-ball linebacker? Well, what do you think is going to happen? He's going to be a stud, man. He can do it all.
Yep.
And all I know is that I watched the entire Big Ten championship game, Ohio State and Indiana. And when I turned it off, I said the best player on the field today, even though his team lost, was Sonny Styles. Go look it up. He had 12 tackles, career high. He was all over the football field because he is a flat out stud, man. He's got all those things. Run, jump. From what I gathered, and I didn't break down all his tape, but they say he didn't miss a single tackle last year.
Right.
Well, okay.
Well, if you
I can just see it. You know, I didn't
put
need
Ohio
the
State
combine to
tape
tell
on,
me that.
Arvell Reese is the best linebacker on that team.
Yeah, I thought Sonny Styles was a little more productive, actually, just as a tackler, that he made more things happen. But again, you know, we get Reuben Bain. His arms are 2 inches shorter than Sonny Styles, a linebacker. Well, go. I watched Reuben Bain all year, and he just tore people up, and he tore up Indiana in the championship game. You know, like what do I need? I don't need him to measure. It's like in the end, to Aqib's points, I need the medicals. I need the height and weight. I can get those anywhere, but if you want to gather everybody up in one place in Indianapolis to do that, that's fine. The interviews give me a little indication of how he's going to be, but we can fly our whole group to Ohio State and take Sonny Styles out to dinner for multiple nights. We can take him out 2 or 3 nights and get to know him. If we really
one guy, Skip, what if you got a board of 50 guys? Y'all
Yeah,
gonna
well,
go to
there's
all
some.
these guys?
Yeah,
You
no,
get-
it helps.
also
It
get
helps a little bit,
you get top
but
visits where you can pick guys to come to your facility and get a couple days
Man,
with
You
you.
can
it's
do
about
that.
the combine
that
is
is-
about getting guys out their comfort zone. You gotta
Hey.
get them out their
Yeah.
comfort zone. If you come to them, they sitting there, they prepared, they at home, they've been reciting whatever, they gonna be somebody different. You want them to be in the natural
Okay.
setting in
Also-
in the jungle amongst the rest of the dogs and see what
Yeah.
it's about. Like Arvell, like, and to your point, Skip, you said Sonny Styles. A lot of people have Arvell Reese above Sonny Styles, point
Yeah,
blank.
they do.
But now
Yeah.
he had the opportunity to go out and say, "Hey, look at this! I can be the number one linebacker in this draft."
I'm the
Okay.
freak of nature. You know what I'm saying? He's
Okay.
probably go before Arvell Reese because his combine. So and then who's better at the end of the day, we'll see. But I mean,
Okay.
I gotta put guys. I gotta put all the dogs in one pit. You know what I'm saying? And then let me see who's the best.
Okay. All right. I got you. And I agree with your premise on that because it's important. You can't see this on TV, but if you're there, you can observe them in the group
Exactly.
and see who the alpha is, see who
Exactly.
takes over. Yeah, right.
And that happens a lot. The coaches will be like, "Hey, what's such and such? Break us down." They know who the leaders
Yeah.
are in the group. They had like every individual period. They was calling. They'll call you nicknames. You get a nickname from
Yeah.
the coach. They messing with you. So
No,
it's
I got
little
it.
things like that.
Yeah.
All right, but when we get to, I'm sorry, Cody. Go ahead, Cody, if you want to
No,
go.
I was just going to
Yeah.
say, and that was my point, because the question was,
Yeah.
how much weight does combine results carry throughout this process? I think the on-field testing, the on-field workouts don't carry a lot of weight. I do agree, and I mentioned that. I do think the interviews and the off-field things do carry a lot of weight because it is important to get face-to-face with these coaches and with these organizations. And it may be your 10th interview of the day, but it's your first impression with that coach. So you've got to be on during that entire process. And they want to know, are you authentic? Everything, because they've already done their due diligence, right? They're asking you questions that they most likely know the answer to. They just want to know if you're going to be honest. And if you're going to back up these guys, these coaches say, hey, he's a great character guy, he's a leader. Is he going to be the same in these interviews or these one-on-ones? But at the end of the day, looking at it as a quarterback, I could go out there and crush it. And I had a really good combine. I could throw some great slants, some great outs, some great in cuts, but then you throw the tape on it. The same guy struggles when you get a pass rush and reading the defense and their footwork gets off. It's not going to translate. That's why, to me, the tape is so much more important. These individual workouts where they can put you through these pressure drills is a lot more important than what you do at a combine, regardless of the competitive nature.
Okay, I got it.
I'm not saying what's more important.
What if he had a bad coach, a bad system, and you can see him at the combine like, no, he really could spin. He really smart. He really is. And then he get with you, and he's a totally different player on that team than he was on this team, like a Sam Darnold.
But that's what I was saying. Well, Sam Darnold was a top 5 pick regardless, no matter what he did. But when you see a guy like that, if you're a high-end pick, I don't think you're going to really jump too much, especially as a quarterback. But if you see a guy spin it, that was kind of my last point of why I think it's maybe 5 to 10%, is if you see a guy and say, hey, the ball's jumping off his hand well, he looks a little bit better, let's go back and watch some more tape. Maybe we call him and say, hey, why don't you come in for a workout? We want to get a one-on-one. Or maybe we send some guys to your pro day, these other things, instead of just going off the combine when you're throwing with one guy that runs a 4.3 and then the next route he runs a 4.8 with another guy who cuts it short and runs different depths. So I think there's a lot more variables to it. And that's why Sean Payton was saying when they were evaluating Bo Nix was that, there's other circumstances around the combine instead of getting these individual workouts and watching his tape.
Yeah.
Well, you also got to use smaller school guys. The competition may not be. You got the Joe Flacco's, the Khalil Macks, where the tape is going to look outstanding, but it's not, D1. So you need to get to the combine so we can see you around the rest of these guys.
Yeah. TJ, I agree with you. Like that Emmanuel McNeil Warren's out of Toledo, where Kenyon Mitchell came from.
Yeah, Kenyon Mitchell for sure.
Yeah, and they say his tape is right there with Caleb Downs' safety tape. And so that would be a player I would want to see among his peers in his position group and just see how he reacts. And I would want to see how he ran and just how he looked as an athlete, just how he came across, what's his body language. But when we get to the receivers and we do the track meet times and we do the Ross or the Ruggs times or Paris Campbell or Tyquan Thornton or Xavier Worthy or Matthew Golden, I don't care how fast they run because it doesn't equate to success on the football field. It just doesn't. At receiver, if you can run 4.2, it doesn't mean you're going to be a perennial Pro Bowl receiver. In fact, it often means you're not going to be a Pro Bowl receiver.
Like Tyreek Hill?
Yeah. Well, there's one who did.
But Tyreek Hill didn't get invited to the combine. Tyreek Hill, Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, Malcolm Butler, Chris Harris, Doug Baldwin, James Harrison, guys like that didn't get invited to the combine, but crushed the other aspects of
All right, so give me a list who guys of another handful of all pros who did get invited to the combine, crushed it. You could do the same thing.
Some guys are all pros that go to like Fernando Mendoza is supposed to be the number 1 overall pick. He's not even going to participate in the combine. He's not going to throw. He's going to do the interviews and some of those things, but he's not even going to throw because there's not a lot of value to it in that situation. It might be different. Maybe I'm looking at it through a quarterback lens and how difficult that was going and throwing with guys that you're not used to throwing with. And it's just a different situation. But yeah, I don't see a ton of value in the on-field.
It's not a lot of value for Mendoza because you're the projected number 1 overall pick. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not the projected number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
I think what we're doing from the conversation, from everybody's opinion right now, is that there is value, whether it's just seeing the guys in person, seeing them with their peers, seeing them in their position with their peers, seeing them like get along with the guys, having the meetings. There's value in one part of the step of the combine. There's a million steps of it, and they're going to find value in one of them. And I think it's still worth it for the guys to be out there. They're going to get something from it, right? But whether you guys put it on a 1 to scale, we got difference of opinions here. I'm leaning with Lieb on this one. I think it's important. I want to see the guy out there on the field with the guys, how they interact in those drills with their peers of the best in that moment. So That's how I feel. I do want to move on though. We got a
Kinsey, wait a second. You agree with Aqib on every question, right?
lot.
Right. Skip.
What is this?
I'm right a lot.
Yeah.
It's because
Yeah.
I'm right a lot. Skip.
Oh, yeah.
That.
I'm
Yeah.
sick of it.
Yeah.
The second Aqib started making me money with his underdog picks, I started.
Yeah. That must be it. That explains it.
He's
You
onto
should
something.
Yeah.
footsteps, Skip, and trust me
Yeah.
sometimes.
He made me some money. I got to ride with my guy,
Man,
but
All right.
the Cowboys was going to win 7 games.
Yeah, exactly.
you did say that. You got a lot of right picks, and maybe you're just a really convincing guy. I listened to all your points. I'm like, you know what? That sounded nice.
Yeah, he picked your Bengals to win the championship this year, Kinsey. Maybe that's why.
They had an injury, Skip.
Right.
They quarterback
Oh,
missed 11 games.
You had him
I
in-
did too. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, speaking of
You did too, Skip.
Yeah.
remember, hey, speaking of Bengals quarterback, remember Joe Burrow's hand size dilemma at the combine? He tweeted he's never going to be able to play in the NFL. Look at him now. You know, he's
Look at him now.
in football. He's already taken.
saying there's some value in every single piece.
Oh, you're
You
right.
can get
There is.
little
There
value
is.
out of each player, and that's enough to make it worth it to bring these guys out and get them all together and make it happen. There is value.